Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's talk about something that I think a lot of us are feeling. We're in this age of endless productivity tools, right? Life hacks everywhere. But why do so many of us feel like we're just spinning our wheels, constantly busy but totally ineffective? I mean, it's a super frustrating paradox, isn't it? You're putting in the hours, you're juggling a million tasks, but that feeling of actually getting somewhere, it's just not there. You just feel stuck, like you're going nowhere fast.
Well, here's the thing. It's because the rules we've all been following, they're just plain wrong. For way too long, we've been sold this idea that you have to grind harder, be perfect, and say yes to everything. So today, we're going to completely dismantle that old advice and give you a brand new, science-backed playbook that actually works.
All right, let's kick things off with myth number 1. This is the one we hear all the time. To get better, you just have to grind. Constant hustle, right? Push yourself to the limit every single day. But what if the real secret to elite performance is actually taking it easy? Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. Most of us, and I mean most amateurs, live right here in this grind zone. It feels good, right? Because it's always kind of hard, so it must be working. But the pros, the elites, they use something totally different called polarized training. And the key is they avoid that middle ground like the plague. And this lays out the formula perfectly. Check this out. Research shows the best endurance athletes in the world spend a whopping 80% of their time training at a super low, easy conversational intensity. And only 20% of their time is spent in those brutal max effort sessions. And the result? This method boosts their peak performance by 17% more than the people who are just grinding it out all the time. The real discipline, it turns out, isn't just about pushing hard. It's about having the guts to go truly easy. So going easy can make you stronger. Kind of weird, right? Well, get ready, because our next myth flips another piece of common wisdom right on its head. We're all taught from day one, avoid mistakes, don't get it wrong. But what if I told you the absolute fastest way to learn is to make mistakes on purpose? Yeah, it sounds crazy, but there's a real concept behind it called the daring effect. So your brain is actually wired to pay way more attention to errors than it does to correct answers. It's like a built-in alarm system. So when you intentionally make a small mistake and then immediately fix it, it's like you're putting a big, bright neon highlighter on that info in your brain. The little shock of, oops, that's wrong, makes it stick.
And you can actually use this. It's a super simple 3-step process. Let's say you're trying to learn a new word. First, intentionally write down the wrong definition. Then, look at it, identify why it's wrong, and physically cross it out and write the correct one right next to it. That simple act of finding and fixing your own mistake creates a way stronger connection in your brain than just, reading the right answer off a flashcard.
And this all points to something really, really important. Trying to be perfect at everything is a recipe for failure. It's just not a winning strategy. And the research on this from the London School of Economics, it's just incredible. They found that selective perfectionists, people who are obsessive about one or two things but totally fine with being mediocre at others, they don't just do a little better, they outperform the be good at everything crowd by a mind-blowing 300%. Okay, so if trying to be perfect at everything is a losing game, that leads us right into our next big myth. We have this idea that successful people are yes people, right? They seize every single good opportunity that comes their way. But the truth? The most effective, highest-achieving people on the planet, they do the exact opposite. You've probably heard this quote from Warren Buffett, and he's not being dramatic here. When he says to avoid those other 20 goals like they're poison, he means it. Those goals, they aren't just little distractions. They are literally the silent assassins of your top 5. Every good opportunity you say yes to is actively murdering your chance at achieving a truly great one. I mean, think about it this way. Every single yes you give has a hidden tax. That side project, that quick coffee that turns into an hour, that collaboration that sounds cool but isn't quite right, each one is taxing your mental energy. It's taxing your focus, and it's stealing the precious time that you could be pouring into the one thing that could actually make you unstoppable.
And you see this play out in the real world in some incredible ways. Look at Instagram. They sold for $1 billion with just 13 employees. How? Because they said no to everything. No video, no messaging, no complex filters, just simple photo sharing. Or In-N-Out Burger. They have the highest revenue per store of any fast food chain because since 1948, they've said no to chicken, to breakfast, to salads. Success isn't about doing more things. It's about doing way less, but doing it at a level that is simply untouchable. All right, so let's recap. We're going to train easy, be strategically imperfect, and say no to almost everything. You with me? Good, because our final myth is maybe the most ingrained of all. We hear it every day. Finish what you start. But what if I told you that strategically not finishing things could actually make you smarter, more creative, and more effective?
The science on this is just so cool. Take that study about waiters. They remembered the open, unpaid orders twice as well as the ones they'd already closed out. Why? Because when you start something, your brain basically opens up a mental tab. It creates this little bit of tension, like an itch it needs to scratch. And if you don't finish, your brain just can't close that tab. It keeps working on the problem in the background, chewing on it, even when you've moved on to other things.
And this isn't just a weird quirk. Top performers use this as a deliberate strategy. A professor like Adam Grant will literally start typing a complex email, get halfway through a sentence, and just leave it as a draft. It's not because he's lazy, it's a tactic. He's basically outsourcing the hard part of the problem to his subconscious mind, letting it work overnight. And very often, it comes back with the perfect answer the next morning.
So what is all of this? The easy training, the purposeful mistakes, saying no, leaving things unfinished, what does it all add up to? Well, it all points to one powerful unifying principle, and that is selective excellence. The big takeaway is this: you just can't be great at everything. You have a limited budget, a finite amount of greatness in you.
And this chart really lays out the choice we all have. Imagine you have 100 units of excellence to spend. You can spread them out, be pretty good at a lot of things. A general, well-rounded B+ student at life. Or you can take most of those units, say 80 of them, and concentrate them all into one or two things, becoming an absolute A++ world beater at what matters, while having the courage to be a D student at pretty much everything else. So I want to leave you with this question, because it's really the most important takeaway from all of this. Achieving real breakthrough success isn't about finding another life hack or cramming more onto your to-do list. It's about courage. It's about having the courage to decide what you will intentionally be bad at. Because only then can you free up the resources to become absolutely unstoppable at the one thing that matters most. That is the real secret.